What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Armored Assassin Predator from the Predator movie. Here we do have the Armored Assassin in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get him open up, and then we'll have a look at the Ultimate Armored Assassin. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have the Armored Assassin Predator posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's take a look at what he comes with. He doesn't come with much, but what he does come with, it'll do for the Armored Assassin Predator. He does come with two different head sculpts. He comes with the closed mouth that he has on him right now. And he also does come with a screaming head, which I think is my preferred look. He also does come with two pairs of hands. He comes with a pair of open palmed hands. And then he also does come with a pair of closed fists, which is really nice. He also does come with a wrist blade, which attaches onto his right gauntlet. He also does come with two different plasma casters. For his left gauntlet, he comes with a folded in plasma caster, and then he also does come with the extended plasma caster. Other than that, the Armored Assassin does not come with anything else, although there's really not much more you would want to include with him. Maybe the head and spine of the Fugitive Predator, but unfortunately he didn't come with it, which is a missed opportunity by NECA, which is a little bit sad. So what we're going to do now is actually have a closer look at this behemoth. And so here we have a closer look at the Armored Assassin Predator, and they did a really good job sculpting this figure. I really do love the texturing that he has on his head here. Let's actually talk about the paint job. NECA did a really good job with the paint detailing in the Armored Assassin Predator. He has this dark blue, lighter blues, some slate, some reds in there, and it just looks really threatening and menacing. And he does look really, really menacing. You can see he has piercing yellow eyes, which I think the Fugitive Predator also came with yellow eyes, but you can obviously see his, and his look really piercing. Really do like that. And then you can see he even has ridges right here, which I do like that. He's textured all around, and I know all the Predator figures are textured, but there's just something about his texturing that I like. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just his overall design. He does remind me of the Berserker Predator, which I really do hope NECA does release an ultimate version of. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on to his dreadlocks, you can see he does have some little spiked accents up here, which they do look really good. They're a little bit warped out of the packaging, but they still look nice, and they are made of a softer plastic. His dreadlocks have a lot of nice little detail. You can see they do have this copper accent on them. And we do have the dreadlocks where they actually seem like they have a, not scaled, but like a layered pattern to them, which looks really good and does make the Armored Assassin stand out from all the other Predator figures. You know, despite being almost twice their size, he is a really beefy figure, and I'll get more on that when we do size comparisons. But you can see just how much care went into this figure. You can see the reds are done really, really well. There's some blues, some greens, some darker shades. So overall, NECA did a fantastic job, not just painting him, but sculpting him. You can see all these little bumps sculpted on his torso. They look really good. His shoulders nicely sculpted. And I do like that his shoulders are a softer plastic, so we'll get more on that when we talk about his articulation. Just go overall seeing all this really nice detail on him. Moving his dreadlocks up, you can see his vertebrae right here. Really good sculpt and paint work there as well. Going down to his wrist gauntlet, you can see the tab where his blade does peg in. So if you want to have him displayed with his giant blade, you can. And just the detailing in his gauntlet alone is really good. You can see it is done mainly in a silver plastic, but it has this really nice darker dry brushing over it with some copper lines right here, some reds, some blues. It just looks really good and well detailed. And you can see it does wrap around his arm nicely. Going on to his really menacing giant hands with the fingernails painted, which I do like that. On the other side, we have an almost mirror image of the gauntlet, although we do have a port for the plasma caster, which is done really well, and you can either have the folded version or the extended version in right there, whichever you prefer. Going on to his loincloth, you can see they did a good job sculpting right here. He does have some metal plates right there. Going down the center, they're done really well. They almost look worn, like worn metal. I really do love the care that went into sculpting this figure. On this side, we have more of those plates with the worn metal and some leather. Same on the back. They did a really good job just sculpting this figure overall. Legs, he has a lot of sharp bits to him. Like, there's a lot of pointy ends to him, which it does bother my fingers because it hurts trying to like find, when you're moving him, you do have to apply some force, and you're gonna get yourself pricked by his little spikes right here. It is a little bit annoying, but it's perfectly fine by me. He's actually touching the top of the display right now. But going on to his legs, you can see he doesn't wear any greaves like all the other Predators that came before him. He's actually barefoot. And his foot is actually designed differently. He doesn't have a flat foot. He kind of has like a heel right up here. This is the main part of his foot, and then his toes are right here. So, while most Predator figures have a flat foot, he has almost an animalistic look to him. I forgot what the name of this bend in the foot is called, but he does have it. And then you can see his toes are done really well. He has another toe right all the way back here. And then he has like a heel claw right there. So overall, just superb detail on the Armored Assassin Predator. And like I said, he is a pretty massive figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually show off how massive he is, comparing him to a few other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have the Armored Assassin Predator posed next to a DC Multiverse Superman and a Marvel Legends Cyclops. Here we do have the Armored Assassin Predator posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have the Armored Assassin Predator posed next to the Jungle Hunter Predator and the City Hunter Predator. And finally, here we have the Armored Assassin Predator posed next to the Ahab Predator and the Fugitive Predator. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at his articulation. Now, I do have to do this piece by piece because he's a pretty large figure and I can't get him in frame all at once. So starting at his head, he does have a ball joint in the head. Gotta watch out for those points because they are kind of sharp. He can tilt his head left and right, which looks really good. He can look down, well, that's as far down as he looks. And he can look up a surprising amount, which is, what's he going to be looking up at? He's probably the tallest figure in my collection right now. But we do have some swivel on that joint, so that works really good. Arms are on ball joints. They do a full 360. Works no problem. And then I do notice that his arms do go all the way out, although I can't get the left arm to go quite as far out as the right arm, so do be aware that his right arm might come out further than his left arm, and it's pretty stiff. He doesn't have a bicep swivel, but he does have a swivel down here in the elbow. He does have a double bend in the elbow, giving him quite a bit of range, which works really good. He does have rotation at the gauntlet, although it's kind of hard to show that. Let's see, yeah, rotation right here at the gauntlet. He has a hinge and swivel at the wrist, so we have some in and out movement, as well as some rotation, which works really good. He has a really good diaphragm joint right here. He can crunch forward only to about that far, which is not a lot. He can crunch back about that far, which is a little bit more. He does rotate at that joint. He does lean left and right, which works really good. So that's pretty good. And then he also does have a secondary ball hinge ball joint right here, which leans side to side. It does rotate left and right. Goes back only about that far. Comes forward quite a bit. So in conjunction with both joints, he gets a decent crunch. So that's a pretty good range right there. Legs are on the ball hinge style NECA joint, so they do go out, and I really do like that they're ratcheted because that means they're going to last longer than if they were just there. So they only go out to about this far. I can't get them to go any further, so that's probably all they can do. And you can hear those ratchets. Legs do kick out, let's see, up to there, which works really good. No issue there. He does have a swivel up high in the thigh, and dang, those little spikes on his thighs do poke into your skin, but he does have thigh rotation. He does have a double bend in the knee, which it's a little stiff, but we have a joint there, as well as a secondary joint right here, which goes all the way up. He does swivel at the knee, which looks really good. Moving his leg back. It's kind of stiff on mine. He does have a hinge right here at his ankle, so he can go forward about that far. Can go back about that far, as well as rotate. Then we do have a hinge in the toe, which it looks like the toe can only hinge forward. Yep, the toe hinges forward. So together you do get that kind of movement. Let's see if I can't straighten. Nope, it doesn't go any further. So that's pretty terrible on the toe. But we do have somewhat of a forward-facing pin, so we do get some slight rocker. So overall, really good articulation for this massive figure. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Armored Assassin Predator pose for my final thoughts. Overall, I really love the way this figure came out. Even though I really wasn't a fan of the movie itself, I really am a fan of this Predator design. He really does remind me of the Berserker Predator from Predators, so I think that's why I really like this figure. Even though he's twice the size of most of your action figures, I really do think this is a figure you should have in your collection. If you're a fan of Predator, or even if you enjoyed the movie, you're going to want to have this guy in your collection. Now, he is quite a big figure, so unless you have the room for him in your shelf, he is going to be pretty hard to get into your display. And seeing as how he doesn't stand as easy as I would like him to, you might have to go out and actually get some figure stands to have him standing up in a good position. I actually have him standing on two different stands right now because he doesn't really balance all too well on his tiny little feet. But other than that, I still think this is a really good figure. I was lucky enough to find my Armored Assassin Predator at my local Target, which is surprising because my Target never has NECA figures. If you are lucky enough to get this figure, I really do recommend you pick him up if you're a fan of the movie or just really love this design in general, because you can't go wrong with a super massive Predator. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other NECA and Predator videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And don't forget to check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.